All right there, folks, we're here at UK Games Expo. I'm here with Damien from Senior Games. We're going to be talking about this awesome game. You may remember this. I'm fairly sure we covered it last year. Heroes of the Shire, is it? Yeah?
You got it.
Yeah.
That's the one, yeah.
Go for it. Tell us all about it, man. It looks amazing.
Oh, thank you. So we're a turn-based combat adventure game. And where we're trying to make things a little bit different, our sort of USP, is I've removed any randomness from combat.
Oh, okay.
So what we have a system here that you might be able to see on some of our boards is we've got these spells down here. And what these spells allow people to do is predetermine actions. So in combat, when I said there's no randomness, is you get to pick one of your spells and you get to cast it. But it's a little bit like chess in terms of, you know, in chess, you only have one thing to do on your turn. You move a piece, and that's it. But your brain is doing a little bit of like, you have to think 4 or 5 moves in advance. This game is a little bit similar in terms of, you think, if I cast that spell on their turn, what can they do? Is it, if that spell, shall I cast another spell is it going to benefit the most? And my background is in the video game industry.
Oh, okay.
So how we're trying to bring sort of, systems I've implemented into video games into here is a cooldown system on a video game, adventure games. You'll cast the spell, and the spell, it'll go grey or it'll go black, meaning you can't cast that spell again. On video games, it's normally for a timer. You know, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So you can see dice here, but I've already told you we don't have any dice in combat. So what the dice are used for is a cooldown system. So if, let's say, we cast the spell here, Inner Beast, it's got a cooldown of 4. You place a d6 for 4 on the board. And at the beginning of your turn, you have a dice upkeep, and the dice values get reduced by a value of 1. So not only you know that you're going to be able to get Inner Beast back in 3 more turns, right. Your opponents can see that, and they can work their strategies around that as well. Okay? And again, on a video game, let's say you cast the spell, and it might grant you might for 30 seconds. In a video game, in a board game, we can't have stop clocks for every spell because it doesn't work like that. So what we have here is these squares on our board, and I've not really seen these before in other games. So how we track the length of time that spells last. So if we cast this spell here, hypothetically, it grants us +3 strength for 3 turns. So the stat we're increasing is strength. And it's for 3 turns, and it's a temporary buff. It's not a permanent buff. Permanent buffs we would gain, as you could imagine, from equipment boards, from leveling up your characters. You gain all those permanent stats, and the temporary are all granted from spells. Okay. So, in a nutshell, it's simple, like I said about the chess. On your chess, you only got to do one thing, but chess is much more complex than doing one thing on your turn. Anyone that plays chess kind of knows that. It's very similar here. On your turn, you do 4 things. A token upkeep, so you'd move all your tokens down a column. Next upkeep, you have a dice upkeep, you reduce all your dice. That takes 10 seconds. Next upkeep. Every hero has a unique ability down here, and this is called a hero upkeep. Our Huntress, what Sheila is able to do, is she has these ability cards here, and they will allow her to summon pets to her ability tab, and that's her unique hero ability. And then we come into the main phase, we pick a spell, cast a spell, and then we pass turn. Cool. That's where I was getting at when I said the game is quite simple. You only do 4 things on your turn, but where the game's complex is we have these skill trees in other games that go like tech trees or spell mastery boards or talent systems. These allow you to, as your character levels up and progresses, to unlock, as Chloe's showing you here, unlock new spells, new abilities, and that will determine how you play the bottom half of your board there. Because if you take your path, let's say you're playing a druid and you want your druid to become a healer, you're not going to be using some of your animal forms. You're going to stay in druid form and do healing. And then if you spec your druid to be a tank, you're going to stay in your bear form. So this removes the linear patterns or linear plays that might be possible from a hero board.
The thing I was thinking there as well, so within one character hero, you have these different trees to go down. You then have a pretty huge range of characters.
Yeah, absolutely, So this is why the game production, like I said, we did our earlier, before we started rolling, was we've been in production for quite a while now. So we were in production for about 2 years before we went to Kickstarter. We did our Kickstarter in 2021. And then so we've been finishing the production since then, and we only finished production about 3 months back. So now Longpack Games, our manufacturer, are starting to print roll the game for us. But it's been a lot of production because we decided to add in
all the different elements to make it open to loads of players to jump in and play with their favourite heroes that they might go, this is the way I want to go with characters and that kind of thing.
Absolutely, and what we find from doing the survey is board games, obviously we all know are subjective, like artwork is subjective, but also what we find with RPGs is characters are subjective. So some people have no interest in playing a warlock or a blood mage, like an aristocrat type character, but they're my go-to.
Yeah.
And other people, we spoke to one of our backers last year here at the UK Games Expo, and he just went straight for the war drummer. And most people go, that's probably their least favourite character, but it's just great because it's something that we might not like might be somebody else's favourite. So that's why we went with a huge selection right off the go. And what we've also done as well is like sort of like the Avatar movie, where they said that they'd spent millions of money upgrading all the CG, so then that they have the world already built on the computer, then that they can build off that. So now we have all these systems in place. The expansion content that we release will be much faster, because we've already spent a long time working on all the nitty gritty.
One of the other things I was going to say, this was intriguing me as well. So I'm guessing this is randomly laying out before each game, is it? And then you sort of go, oh no, okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are, a lot of games do use that system where they're random, okay? So what we do is these are all laid out the exact same, each scenario. We've got 4 scenarios, earth, fire, water and ice. What you can see is the fire scenario. The elements. And they all start from our Shire hex here. So we've got the water scenario, the ice scenario, the fire, and the earth. We've got 2 others coming in expansion next year. And so how the world is randomly generated then, we have an exploration deck. Each time that you would flip over a hex, you would take an exploration card, and these are random. And this would tell you, if you would take out a build your own adventure card, they would tell you if you've summoned enemy monsters, and we have a deck of 64 enemy monsters to choose from, of which would be randomly summoned into battle. We have 12 bosses. With our bosses, their boards are a little bit different. So what we're, again, trying to remove any linear play patterns, is our bosses have phases. And phase 1, once phase 2 kicks in, the strategy for defeating the boss might completely change. So hypothetically, let's say a dragon flies up into the air, you can't use any melee attacks, only ranged attacks. So it's like, if you're playing a warrior, 90% of your board is you can't use anymore. So it's like you're thinking, I should have spec'd in the other talent tree now. What's going on? I can cast 2 spells, and they're on cooldown.
Oh, awesome, very cool. I'm also going to point out, Shire, I'm guessing you 3D printed some lovely heroes for yourselves, was it?
Yeah. We've got a friend at our LGS over in Shrewsbury, Monster Makings, and we paid him to just print some of these out for us, and a friend of mine that plays Warhammer kindly painted them for us.
Gorgeous.
You see, our demo ones are about 100 mil. We could never ship those, unfortunately. They're just far too big, and we've got about 60 monsters in the game. Cool. So you can see just next to that Berserker, there's a little small 40 mil model, the little transparent red one, not painted. That's how the minis would come.
Brilliant.
In the game.
Amazing stuff. So you're saying it's delivering through to Kickstarter backers and that kind of thing now, is it?
So we just last month we just delivered our print and play pledges. Physical pledges should be arriving. We told our backers it was originally going to be July, but we had to let them down in the last email to let them all know. It's being printed right now. There's not really a chance. We can 100% confirm it won't be July, I'm afraid, but we are sort of looking at October, sort of, I would say, August, September, October at the latest time. And
if people are here at UK Games Expo, they can come and give the game a go, see what it's all about and everything like that?
Yeah, we are still taking pre-orders. So what we've done is our pledge manager closed in March of last year because our Kickstarter ended in December of 2021, sorry.
Time is wibbly-wobbly nowadays.
Yeah, after COVID it is, so what we do when we come to the Games Expo, we did it last year and we've done it again this year, is we've reopened our pledge manager and we're also offering some of the Kickstarter exclusive stuff that is not available to anybody else.
Brilliant.
So that's some of the perks of finding us at the UK Games Expo, having a little play. We've got a sit-down table and we've also got two demo stands, and we have both modes in the game. So we have the adventure mode, but we also have the arena mode, and the arena mode is a little bit like a dice thrown. It's a player versus player, and those games are a little bit faster. The scenario, the adventure, is like you sit down and you expect to stay there for 2 to 3 hours, sort of thing.
Oh my God, this sounds amazing. Definitely go and check it out. Where can they go to go and find you at the show?
We're in Hall 2, and we're on stand 473.
Boom, professional. Yeah. We're going to move on and do another video. We'll see you very, very soon. Bye for now.